I know my Tekken lore.
Dude, I know my lore, and you're wrong.
I've
There's a
done-
vampire. The one guy's a vampire, the one guy's a fucking panda, dude.
Hello and welcome to the Underleveled podcast. My name is Bjorn,
I'm Shav.
I'm Kieran.
and today, what are we talking about? We're talking about fighting games and why they're the worst kind of game there is.
No, do you honestly believe that?
Who's Shav?
You suck, dude.
Wait,
Do you honestly believe fighting games are the
I thought we
worst?
were on the same
Why do you-
page. here.
No, I love
What
fighting
are fighting
games.
games do you?
Fighting games
Did you play them when you were
are
young?
uninteresting and boring and lame.
I'll tell you what, when you're a kid, it's like World War III in the house.
Oh, because you're fighting your
It's
siblings.
competition, dude.
Okay, gotcha.
You gotta show who's the best.
Okay, no, take a moment. Explain to me, why are fighting games not shit?
I don't know how to explain it, except they're just so fun and they're competitive, especially when you're going against a sibling, like you just mentioned.
Yeah. If you
Sibling
have some,
rivalry in fighting games is so much fun.
Sibling rivalry.
Yeah, if you have like deep-seated anger
Oh my god, is
towards
he
someone,
witty, eh?
you can like get it all out. Through
Wait, what did you
fighting
guys...
form.
You said to me on the PlayStation 2 you guys played Tekken 3, right?
No, PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1,
It's Tekken 3.
Tekken 3.
A banger. Absolutely.
Okay,
banger.
why? Why? Was it the first game, like, fighting game you played?
Yeah, it was the first
Yeah,
one.
same.
I used to play with my brother. Used to play with all our friends.
Who are the characters? Who are the people in it?
Ooh, they had a 30,
Good
I think it was a
question.
32 game roster for Tekken 3.
They had lots.
32
You
characters.
could
Yeah.
play as a panda. You could play as a wood stump. Literally like a tree
Oh, I
stump.
forgot about the wood stump.
You could play as King. Not King.
King.
That's from WWE.
One of my favorites.
He's
King.
basically just he's a jaguar-headed wrestler.
Okay, he's a Mexican luchador who wears a jaguar.
But it's a real
Yeah.
jaguar.
It's not a real
it's
jaguar.
Damn it. There's Yoshimitsu, who's a swordsman. He's the coolest guy in the whole game. He's basically
I
just like
love
a robot
Yoshimitsu.
alien
I do
swordsman.
have...
No,
Sorry, can we...
he is a samurai who wears this funky, like...
No, he was built. He's a robot.
No, he's not a
Yeah.
robot. It's a real person in there.
No, Yoshimitsu's
I can't
a
wait to go
robot.
through the edit and, like, be like, who was right, who was wrong?
And
The
then
robot
later
Jack-
on, he
Jack
becomes
is
an
a-
alien.
Jack is a robot. Byron becomes a cyborg later in
No,
the
he's
series.
a vampire.
No.
You
I know my Tekken lore.
Dude, I know my lore, and you're wrong.
I've
There's a
done-
vampire.
They-
The one guy's a vampire, the one guy's a fucking panda, dude.
There's
Are
two.
you
There's
sure?
two pandas.
But what does
There's
the stump do?
He's
Oh,
just a
he
tree
mimics.
stump.
He mimics your whoever your opponent is.
He's like, he's got like I think he has like a nose or something.
Okay, isn't it some ninjutsu dude? Like...
No,
Like,
it's
tree
literally a
stump.
woodman who always reflects whoever the opponent is.
True.
So they don't have. He doesn't have his own style.
There's a guy called Law, who's pretty cool. He's based on Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
He does backflips and shit and lies on the ground.
he's been a constant in the series since
Is-
Tekken 1.
Tekken relatively, like, fantasy-esque. Like, you have your normal fighters, but for the most part, you have cyborgs.
Mhm.
According to Kieran, you have
There
vampires.
is- yeah, there
There's
is.
a vampire. Yeah, it is.
I don't remember a vampire. There's like devils and demons.
The main character becomes like a half devil. His
Okay.
name's Jin.
Jin.
Jin
Yeah.
Kazuha.
Cool.
He gets like
sick dude.
he gets like fallen angel wings. It's like
At
pretty
the
cool.
end of Tekken
So it
3.
is very, like, kind of fantasy-esque. You have a lot of different tropes, all that
There's
kind
a
of
man
stuff.
with a jaguar head. It's not a mask.
I heard you the first time.
It's not a mask. Google it.
I don't need to Google it because I
I'll
know.
Google it for
That's
you.
a lot of confidence. Don't worry, I'll put up all the graphics afterwards.
The thing is, they animate his mask like it's real, but he's a luchador just wearing a mask.
I'm on Kieran's side
It's
for
so cool, dude. And then there's what's the other dude? Oh, Eddie Guerrero.
No.
Everyone hates.
Hmm?
He's
It's
a guy
just,
that,
it's Eddie Brock. Eddie Guerrero's a wrestler.
or Eddie whatever. He basically just does like.
He
Parkour
does
around.
capoeira.
There you go.
Oh, what is it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu
Yeah.
where the guys are
Pretty
just like
crazy.
spinning
Yeah.
around on the ground? just like-
Capoeira.
No.
Capoeira.
That's different
is-
from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu though.
No.
No,
His
Brazilian-
style is capoeira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the
what
That's
he
the
does.
dance
Yeah.
style, right?
Yeah, and he fights like that.
It's so annoying to fight against.
It is.
Did you guys?
I think
That's
I
like,
spoke about this maybe last episode or 2 episodes ago, where my brother would just spam the breakdancing move, and I have
so you
no
just,
idea how
you
to
just
stop
do like a
it.
low kick the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, your guy just like does this. It's weird. You gotta see it.
Did you guys, little piece of UCT lore, there was a capoeira society or something at UCT.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's-
knew about it.
And I just remember I never informed myself as to what it was. And every couple of months, like in the
Did you
summertime.
go? Did you
No,
ever
no, no.
go?
Because we'd be sitting on the plaza and
You'd
like
see them.
we'd see some dudes with like weird bows and
Yeah.
like drum instruments show up. And then like three of them will just start like flipping and turning around and stuff. And it was the funniest shit I've ever seen in
Like
my
they
entire
came
life.
with music.
Yeah.
That's how they fight.
Is it capoeira? I feel
Yeah,
like
it is.
Must be.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
They fight with music. They have a
Yeah.
soundtrack for when they
Why
fight.
are you doubting me?
Is it like the
Because you're
music?
you.
Is it the music that hits you, or is it the physical?
It was funny as fuck, dude. Because I'm sitting there enjoying my lunch, and then some dude starts doing
I feel like that's
it's like a weird mixture between a cartwheel and a handstand next to me.
They purposely break their shin bones to make them stronger for
That's
capoeira.
dumb as fuck.
No.
I know it's probably true, but it's dumb. Why you break your shin bone? That's
For
like
the love of the game, dude.
Oh, they're not EA. Calm down.
like those dudes that punch like a tree, and then all the
The
colors
knuckles,
grows back,
yeah.
and it gets stronger.
So whack. Okay, so
Except they don't break their knuckles.
I just side note, you guys have not successfully convinced me that Tekken's a good game.
Okay,
But besides that,
Okay.
right? What are the major games? You have Tekken, which is a
Alright.
long-standing game. You have Guilty Gear, which is an anime kind of one. You
I'm
I'm trying to
have
think back.
Street
No one
Fighter.
knows.
The original, I don't know which came first, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, or King of Fighters. Those were the three
I
big
don't know.
arcade games.
I feel like Street Fighter is a good shot.
I feel just based on the name.
Yeah.
Those were the big three in the beginning. Obviously, arcade games.
Okay, so they were all sort of as arcade games.
Yeah.
They are what's it? King of Fighters? I've never heard of.
A
And-
very
never heard of
old
that.
fighting game.
So, but like the legacy games, you have Street Fighter, which is still having new
Still
releases
having
nowadays.
new releases.
You have Tekken, where Tekken 8 came
I think Tekken 1 might have been. I don't know if Tekken 1 was a PlayStation exclusive. Oh, I think it might have started with the arcades also. But I'm 100% sure that Tekken 3 was on PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like it's a weird. Actually, that's a good thing. Maybe we should. Should I Google it?
No.
Find out which one came first. Which one was the?
You can
the
if you want to, but
progenitor?
it's genuinely no stress.
Okay.
But yeah, fighting games.
Because Street Fighter looks more based in realism. Like,
No,
am I-
Street Fighter, they're
they-
shooting
yeah.
fireballs at each other.
Yeah,
like,
oh,
they're
wow.
like,
Hadouken is Street
Hadouken.
Fighter.
oh shit, guys.
Dude, there's a guy in Street Fighter who can stretch his limbs super fast.
Ah,
It's
yes.
like a
'Cause
Snake Man.
The only thing I'm seeing when I think of Street Fighter is that one dude in like a karate outfit with the red
That's the
head.
guy
Yeah,
that shoots
that's
the
Ryu.
thing.
Oh, does he do
Ryu, he does the
Yeah.
Hadouken.
He does superpower things. Okay, never mind.
It's not superpower. That's like his only like superpower thing, kind of.
Hadouken.
Move.
Well, because I played not what are the you have Tekken, you have Street Fighter,
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. I played at our friend's house.
Yeah,
that
Mortal
was in.
Kombat is really
Okay.
fun.
I
But
destroyed everyone at that game. I'll let you know.
Untrue,
No one
but-
beat me.
the like
That's
you
true.
had characters that were like bug people, like and
Yeah,
you had like
I know
a
who you're talking
frost put like it felt very very super.
Dude with all the teeth, remember?
Did you just call Sub-Zero the Frost person?
Yeah.
Sub-Zero is so
The
lame,
disrespect
dude.
to
Get out of
Sub-Zero.
town,
So
man.
apparently Sub-Zero is the
Yeah.
cheese character
He's-
that you play to just cheese the game.
I'm not sure. I mean, the meta goes
All
through
of them are
like
good,
constant
but-
change, especially like now with online with fighter games. Well, you know how games can be patched whenever, so characters can be balanced out now compared to the olden days where they just send out the CD and that was that. If a character was broken, they stayed broken.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's true. The old games, they don't maintenance them.
If you look back to,
But then you know why they do that now? It's because they have professional.
Yeah, it's because
tournaments
you
now.
can fix and balance. But if you look back
Yeah.
to like Super Smash Bros. Melee, in the competitive scenes, you were only rarely allowed to use like Fox, the Falcon guy.
No, well,
Kirby.
There
No.
were 5 main characters, which was Fox, Falcon. Don't ask me. I barely played.
Those were the only ones that were allowed in certain
Well, you had
in
Link-
No,
competitive
was
it's
scenes.
just they
Link,
were the
um,
most. They're the ones like. They're so established as characters that it's practically impossible to win with Pikachu. Like recently at Big House 10, a Japanese player won with Yoshi, which I think is the first time someone's ever won with Yoshi.
Yeah, who the fuck
Oh,
plays
that's
as
kind of
Yoshi?
like that's like King. That one dude there was this dude who played Tekken,
Yeah?
and King is like a character you don't play in the professional scene, but this one dude decided to pick him, and made it all the way to the finals with like the underpowered character King, or he's basically just all skill,
Mm-hmm.
and he like got all the way to the I think it was like one of the finals. I forget his name, and it was like the most hype moment in Tekken because they were using like everyone's favorite character, and they just were killing like all the overpowered, like, these are the characters you pick, like Jin, I think his name is the main dude.
Guys, Jin.
So it was literally just
Dude,
a
and he
beautiful
just
underdog story.
Yeah, it's like an underdog story.
Do you
He
know
just
when this
destroyed them
was?
all.
Like last couple of years.
This was like, I don't know, maybe more than like the last couple of years.
Okay. Either way, before we continue,
So, yeah,
we've been
this-
like a bit messy here. Sorry, you want to say?
No,
something?
I think like I was gonna say, fighting games in general have a long storied history, and probably as game categories have had the most staying power, if you think about it, because they've been around since arcade times and they're still going strong now.
Okay, so the one thing I can think of as to why you have these like super long-standing games, also things like FIFA and which aren't fighting
But
games.
FIFA's definitely dropped off.
But it's because of like games that last for a long time. I think is because of competitive scenes.
Yes. How dedicated are your fans? How strong is the competitive
Yeah.
scene?
So like there are RPGs that people still replay and stuff. Like for instance, Skyrim, which got released in 2011, still has a fan base, myself deeply included. But that's also because of modding, and like it's technically you can change it into a different game all the time, but it's not as popular as games that have competitive scenes. But before we continue, I do want to ask like what your guys' history is. Like I think we want to go like 1, 2, 3 in terms of history of like with fighting games. So starting with you, you mentioned you and your brother.
Tekken. Tekken 3 is the first fighting game I played, and actually Tekken as a series is probably the highest entry level for a fighting game.
Is it difficult?
Is very difficult when you compare it to the other fighting games, just because Tekken is might be the only one or one of two where when you use the analog stick you have to do like quarter flicks and stuff like that in order to execute a specific combo, and then there's so many combos that you can do in Tekken compared to other games. We'll talk about it later, but the simplicity of like Smash Bros compared to Tekken, which is like night and day. But Tekken was the longest fighting game that I played for a while. 3, 4, 5. I didn't do 6, and then I hopped back on 7. And then Super Smash Brothers was the next one that I got really into. Started with Brawl, did a bit of Melee, Melee, did the 3DS one, and was very into the Ultimate scene. Yeah, those were my games. And then obviously in the middle, tried out Mortal Kombat X. Actually really enjoyable. Injustice 2 I tried. The controls for Injustice 2 are ass. Probably the worst set of controls for a fighting game I've ever used.
Why?
The
I
worst
can't-
controls he's
I
ever
can't-
had, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing worse.
I can't explain it, but it's just so like clunky and not always like very responsive to like what and as smooth compared to previous fighting games I've played.
Okay.
And I think the only reason I stuck with it for a while is because they were doing the storyline of what's it, Superman, where Joker kills Lois. I can't remember the name of the comic book, but it's where Superman turns bad because the Joker has killed Lois, and I love that storyline.
I had no idea you were such a big fan of fighting
Injustice.
games. Like genuinely, I thought you went and played 1 or 2 before this episode to prep for it.
Nah.
Okay.
I mean, definitely Tekken and Super Smash are my bread and butter, but
Awesome.
I'm not opposed to like trying other
And
things.
do you play online against people? Is that something you've ever gotten into, or is it mainly just local
I tried, but I'm definitely Tekken. I tried a couple of times. I am very bad at Tekken Online. Like it needs like proper dedication to get good at. But I think we'll talk about it later. But with Tekken 8 and what they're doing to try to entice newer fans and help them get into the competitive scenes, maybe I could get good again. And then Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I did a lot of online. I would say I'm above average. I use Greninja a lot. I think that was my favorite character to use. Bayonetta, also really good.
Isn't Bayonetta the cheese character?
Yeah, that's why.
Okay. Okay, that's what I was seeing online. I was like, because I was looking up on, I think on Reddit, just people's opinions on why, like, specifically Super Smash Bros. Melee has been around for so long. And a lot of people say it just, like, has, well, I'll get into it just now.
Characters.
But then people would compare it to other Smash games. And especially when they talked about, I think, is it Smash 4 or which?
Smash 4 is the Wii U 3DS one.
Okay, whichever one, because they just say Bayonetta. It's
Yeah.
just like, it just
For the 3D
ruins,
for the
it
3DS
ruins
one.
enjoyment for a lot of other people because it's just overpowered.
In 3DS and Wii U, she was the cheese character.
Okay.
Not so much in Ultimate. I'm trying to think who is in Ultimate. Maybe King Croc. I also love using King Croc.
You just like easy shit, dude. But okay, and then you, Kieran, what's your history when it comes to fighting
I
games?
played Tekken a lot.
Tekken. Just
Growing
Tekken 3 on the
Tekken
PlayStation
3,
1?
Tekken 4.
Okay.
And I watch a lot of like professional Tekken like tournaments,
Okay.
which are cool.
Like
So the reason-
recently?
Well, yeah, recently, the reason that Tekken is so difficult is because, like, if you watch the professionals play, all they're trying to do is like combo the enemy into a wall.
Oh,
so
dude,
they
is
can,
it
like,
that
bounce
bullshit
him
like
off the
with
wall.
Magic the Gathering, where
Dude.
nowadays... Oh, is it Is it... Yeah,
Magic.
I think it is Magic, MCG,
Okay.
where like nowadays people... Or is it Yu-Gi-Oh? It might be Yu-Gi-Oh, where people try to pull off combos, right? And it's just like, it's over in 2 turns because someone got to pull off a combo.
Well, with like there's
Yeah.
a certain
So is
amount
it the
of,
same
like,
with
hits-
Tekken?
Yeah, so you want to because as soon as you're hitting the opponent and they're in the air, they can't do anything until
Mm.
they recover. So you want to keep spamming
Yeah.
them in the air,
Which
so
kind
you,
of
like,
decides the
against the
game.
wall. Then you throw them through the freaking because later games you can throw them. Later games you can throw them like down through the ground to the
Mhm.
next floor below, and then they like bounce off the ground and then they're still in the air and they can't do anything. It's so weird.
It's a
It's-
cheesy kind of strat.
It's called
right?
juggling the
yeah,
opponent.
juggling. There you go.
Okay, this is...
And that's why it's so hard because like if you fuck up and you miss the dude, then you could be juggled.
Yeah.
Oh,
Honestly, like juggling is really hard. You need to like also know about frame rates and when to
Yeah.
hit.
So actually, this kind of is a
It's
very nice
crazy.
transition into like my experience with fighting games. Because
okay, which is none.
No, I've played Melee the last like week.
Okay, okay.
Right.
That's very
So,
sick.
and the reason I talk about that is because, so
Is
the
Smash,
skill-
Smash the one where you can get the big hammer?
if
And
you
you
say
just,
so,
like,
There's
I
it's
don't
one of the
people with a
items you can
hammer.
get. There's hundreds of items you can
I
get.
remember
Okay.
like being Kirby. And you
Yes.
could, like,
Which is
suck people up
Kirby is
and-
the cheese character.
Is it?
In Melee.
In Melee, yeah. But so
yeah.
the skill, the entry level for like fighting games, I find as someone that's come into it with like no ability whatsoever, it's so daunting because, okay, first of all, I'm
Dude, I
playing
played
on
Mortal Kombat against you. It was like playing against a 3-year-old.
Okay, well, but it's
And
so,
I say that
it's
as
so
a friend.
hectic.
I say that as a friend.
I say that because I like you.
No, I'm joking.
But like, so first of all, I am playing with a third-party controller, right? So it doesn't match a GameCube controller
Okay.
controls perfectly.
Yeah, that's gonna
But
suck.
regardless, it just like when it comes to combos and special moves and stuff, Melee has been around for more than 2 decades at this point.
Yeah.
And the skill of the like players is just, it's at such a fucking high ceiling, and they use moves like wave dash and L cancelling where you essentially in a sense abuse mechanics of the game
Yeah.
and like you said, like frames and stuff to do certain moves. And that's why Melee, a lot of people love Melee, is because it's like the
Technically
controls are so precise that like depending on which ways you hold the controllers and which buttons you press can be a completely different move. They say that the top tier players have like essentially you can watch them play without knowing who's playing that character, and like you'll know who the controller is.
Yeah.
In a sense, because they like you have personality in the way they move, and it's like you said with Tekken, like the people that can like keep you constantly in the air.
Yeah.
It's the same with Melee, where it's just people, they know all these moves and combos essentially, and it's so intimidating as a person with no history like in this field, I guess.
There's
to
also
hop
like
into.
stages that you have to take into account. So like you can't just like some characters are better at different stages.
Yeah.
There's this one stage in Tekken where it's like there are no walls. I don't know if it's infinite or something like that. It's like you fight someone without the ability to juggle them into walls.
Yeah.
And then there's certain characters that are super good on that stage.
Okay.
And then when the competitive players fight or play each other, it's not only the characters they pick, it's also like, what stage are we doing? Which character should I pick for which stage? Who's picking first?
So it
All
becomes a
this kind of
whole...
stuff.
You're playing chess before you even start playing the game.
Which is why, like you said, that's why it stays popular.
Mm.
Because it's like, chess has stayed popular for a reason.
And like I was saying earlier, the
It's
Japanese player that recently won that tournament
Yeah.
with a character that people formerly had completely like disregarded.
Was it Melee or was it Ultimate?
Which
It
one
was
are you talking
Melee.
about?
It was
Okay.
so I can't remember. It's like Amsa
And
AMSA.
this
I
was
think.
Are the
with,
five kings of Melee still around?
Five.
The
Dude,
are
that
you
sounds
talking
like a
about
Dark
the
Souls.
Armada, Mewtwo
Um,
King,
Mango?
Mango. Are they still around?
I think so, because Mango was competing for the number one spot like 2 years ago. I think he still competes in tournaments. I sometimes actually watch his streams.
Yeah.
But there is like a next generation of
Who's
because
this? Lewin, I think his name is.
okay, no idea, but this is actually also because you've played like when Tekken 3 and 4 was like on the PS1, PS2 era, right? So
Three-
quite a long time ago.
PS2 was 4.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're still kind of up to date in some games,
At least
right?
Smash and Tekken.
Right. So whereas Melee is, like I said, a 20-year-old game, and a big issue of like old games is I think it's called network rollback, which is now going into like mechanics of like different fighting games and stuff. But a big issue people faced with like games on the GameCube and whatever is that multiplayer online wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So
In-person
like,
tournaments.
it was always in person until like 2019, 2020 when someone developed this program called Slippy, which is not a nice name.
This is the first time hearing this.
But it allows people to play online without lag, and that rejuvenated the community because now you had like players from Sweden and Japan and all this kind of stuff competing in major tournaments.
Yeah.
So as opposed to the community just being in North America or just being in like mainland Europe, it's now global, which is really cool for competitive scenes.
Was it just
Yes.
designed for the Super Smash Brothers?
I think Slippy is maybe for Super Smash Melee specifically.
I mean, Dota doesn't even have that.
For real?
Yeah. If you play in like China and then you play in America, the ping is different.
Okay, that's a bit miserable.
Yeah. And so when they do online tournaments, like during COVID, they had a huge discrepancy with like, this person had so much ping because they were playing in, I don't know, whatever. China's the only example I can think of.
Okay.
But like that guy would be on a team where there's only like, he's the only Chinese player and the others are all together in the house.
Yeah.
But he couldn't get there because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then he'd have to play with like extra ping.
I can imagine it would
Quite
probably be much more difficult to pull that off with Dota because it's
Yeah.
8 characters for 4 on a team, right?
It's super hard, yeah. Five.
4 on a
Five
five
on
on
a
a team.
Five on a team.
Plus, there's much more going on compared to
Yeah.
a fighting game where you're
Which-
gonna get 4 characters max,
Exactly.
and then the background.
But I was just thinking like that. If they could get that for Dota, that would be sick.
Okay, so
Slippy.
it's SLIPPI, I think.
Okay.
So there's like constantly cool things happening for games that have like big communities. But yeah, because you've played more modern games,
Yeah.
right? So how's your multiplayer experience been, or have you only played against CPU?
Well, it's very well known, but playing Ultimate, the online mode is so bad. I mean, I haven't picked it up in like two years, so maybe it's gotten better. But even when I got Ultimate, I think it already had been out for 2 years. Because I got my Switch a bit late. It's not great. It's not a good experience playing online.
Okay.
Especially like if you're playing with somebody from another country, just like just random matchups. But when I played people who lived in South Africa, it was much better. I didn't experience much of that lag, so I didn't do a lot of online because it's just not fun.
It's not fun because it's nice to like play with someone and be able to talk to them and tune them and be like, you suck.
No, it is.
the worst.
It's nice to be able to turn to your brother and punch
Dude,
them
in the
nuts.
Tekken stuff I watch, sometimes they win around and they go like right up to the dude like sitting right next to him, and the dude's like, "Whoa, dude, what the fuck?"
That's so
It's
so
funny.
miserable.
And there's like a crowd of people that are like, it's so good, dude. That's what we should do. We should have a tournament.
We should have a tournament.
We go to the arcade place that we were talking about,
Okay,
and we fight each other for the
Kieran,
grand prize.
You're essentially saying you and Hushef are gonna have a tournament, and I'm
Yes,
gonna be the
you'll be
punching
there.
bag.
You'll
I'm
be-
gonna be the punching bag. That's it.
No, you'll be the wild card.
No,
I have no ability.
Exactly.
We need a
that's why you're the
referee.
wild card.
Oh, dude, those that can't do ref.
I think that's ultimately where this podcast is going. Is we have a eternal battle.
Actually,
That's
just speaking
Tekken.
about those that can't do ref, like,
Those that can't do
and watching, like you said, you watch like Tekken stuff online, like you watch tournaments and whatnot,
Yeah.
right? Like, I can't tell what the fuck is going on
Yeah.
at the highest level. like
Well, what do you
especially-
mean? Like, what do you mean? you
if
can't
I
tell?
tried watching like a Melee tournament.
Yeah.
I was watching the finals between two people whose names I don't know,
Okay.
right? But like they were doing things within like a frame. Like someone would like wave dash and then like do a move, and the other person would pick up on that and like block at the right time and counter. Like just the amount of like I was saying, the skill level is so high, and people are so attuned to different characters and like literal frames, like a split second of motion on screen, and they can like counter. And as a caster, someone that
You
is
gotta be
watching
able
the
to
game,
explain
they
it.
need to also essentially be top tier players to be able to like explain what is going on.
I think
Yeah.
commentators
That
in
often
Super
happens.
Smash do pretty well at like walking you through something, especially like when a round ends and they can like tell you, okay, this is what happened. They're pretty good at that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm
it's-
saying, but like
it's-
as a like, just a casual viewer, unless I just
You
wouldn't
got to
know.
do some research, right?
Like if you watch a sport on TV, if you watch football on TV,
Yeah.
like fucking goes in the goal, sick. Like yes, you won't necessarily know like
well, you
all
don't
the
know,
offside
like,
rules
you
and
don't
stuff.
know the inputs for like how they did the move, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you understand like what the strategy is. Does that make sense? Like if you're playing a character against a character, the one character is like gonna have a strategy for like what they want to do, and the other one's gonna have a strategy for what they want to do to beat the other person, right? So I find that it's fun, like the strategy, like behind why they're doing the things they're doing. Like maybe they'll switch up.
But I
like
wouldn't,
the
as a
move.
casual viewer, I wouldn't know any of that coming
That's
in.
true.
Which
I
is
feel like in Tekken they do a good job of explaining things.
okay.
And a lot of it is the same things. Like if you watch a Tekken match, there's a lot of like repetitive. Like they're doing a lot of the same thing because it's the optimal thing, right? I feel like when you describe Smash, maybe it's a bit faster than Tekken.
It
I
is
don't know.
one of the
Yes.
fastest paced
Yeah.
fighting games you
It's
can
super
possibly have.
fast.
So that's why
Tekken's
people
slow.
love. Actually,
Tekken is a very defensive game. Smash is more offensive.
But you get punished way harder in Tekken, right?
Yeah.
For like-
Tekken is also not XY. There's a third level because you can roll, you can dodge by going like moving forward, like kind of backwards.
oh, so it's a bit
Where-
more 3D.
Yeah,
than-
where Smash is just XY, just back and forth.
Also, when we played what's it, Ultimate? I can't even remember the names of these
Oh,
fighting games.
we played Mortal Kombat.
Mortal
X.
Kombat. Yeah,
X.
we.
X's 10, that was the
On
most
the
popular.
Xbox?
Yeah,
On
in
the
the last
Xbox
2
one?
years, it's
Ah.
been the most popular.
So we
one.
played Mortal Kombat, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the characters were like so. It felt like they were glacial.
They are slow, eh?
They're just like
It's slow.
it's so fucking slow. And then I go and play Melee, and I'm like, and like the smallest little twitch of the controller like sends your dude flying, and
Yeah.
like all
But
this
that's
kind of stuff.
because like Tekken and Mortal Kombat have like input, so it's like back square triangle does like a thing.
Okay, so
So, yeah.
combos. The
Back
fact that
down.
they are combos, like, the game is essentially registering each single input that you put in case
Yeah.
it goes
Yeah.
into something.
And like there's 3 different grapples. Like
Yeah,
there's
so
a lot of
I didn't mention this earlier. That's why I said Tekken has such a high entry level. Whereas in Super Smash Brothers, you effectively have 3 buttons.
yeah
Your
A B C.
Okay. No.
your attack, your jump,
yeah.
your smash, your block, and technically a grapple. That's 2 buttons together.
And you can pick up a hammer. That's what I remember.
You and this hammer.
I remember there's a hammer. You can hit people out of the arena with it.
So
Okay.
yeah, that's why it's much easier and it's much
But-
more
'cause-
easier to get. It's much more easy to get into for a casual
Yeah.
because you're gonna
Yeah.
pick it up much quicker, and all the characters are basically the same because you only got the 3 buttons,
Yeah.
and clicking back and a special attack does something forward, and that
I feel like
Dude,
if
Tekken
someone
has
has.
like lists of like 50.
Dude,
I've
I've
Yeah.
seen that seems
combos.
so.
it
so,
is very intimidating when you look through the combo list of Tekken.
When I was trying to decide which game I would try out for this specific episode of the pod, I watched a video on Polygon, the YouTube channel, if you guys know them.
Sounds familiar.
They do a lot of like gaming oriented content, but there was a guy who essentially gave like how you get into the scene and like what if you want to start playing fighting games, what is the best way to go about doing that. And he said that for games like Tekken, where he scrolled through one of the characters like combo lists and it just kept going.
Yeah.
Because it's also like a lot of the characters are from the original games, right?
Yeah.
And they've
Yeah.
gotten new combos every single game.
Yeah.
Which is just like that's so gross.
And it's just all
So he
builds on
says
itself.
you choose like 3 or 4 of your like staple combos, and then you can expand from there. Like no one uses every single combo in the entire list, which I think
It's pretty crazy.
which
It's
also
very
like lets you
daunting.
like kind of build your own personality for that character.
Yeah, but makes sense. But even when you're a casual coming in, you're like, oh, what can I
Yeah.
do with this character?
Dude,
Oh.
But also, you gotta remember, like, if you're playing professionally against someone, the other person's gonna be like, oh shit, they're playing this character. You main like 3 characters, let's say, or maybe more if you're a professional. Imagine having to remember what the abilities of the other characters are and like how they can. You know what I mean? Like, imagine.
Meta wise,
You have to know what they also know.
Yeah, but meta wise, there's not like a big list to choose from in the
true.
meta, so they don't
There's
need to
only,
know like all 32 characters.
But that's why when I described that one dude who played the suboptimal guy, the king,
yeah.
and he beat like all these like OP characters for the meta. That's why it was so insane, because people were like, "This can't be happening. It doesn't make sense." And he did it.
I think it's very cool.
Yeah.
But once again, it seems like such a big hurdle for a new player to come into.
It is, and that's why all the professionals have been playing since Tekken 1.
Oh, that's
I
great.
think-
When did Tekken 1 come out then? That must be like
Tekken came out in the 90s, I think. Tekken 1.
that's unreal. Okay. So of the ones that you've played, which has been your favorite? Like, have you? Because you've played Tekken and you've played some of the Nintendo originals. Have you played any of the have you done a bit of Street Fighter? Have you done a bit of
I've
Mortal Kombat?
never touched a Street Fighter. Oh, I
Me
lied.
too.
I've done a Street Fighter in the arcade.
Okay.
I feel like it's
So
even
actual
slower
like
than
joystick and buttons. But when it comes to favorite, maybe Tekken 3 for nostalgia reasons. But I think, Tekken 5 was also pretty fun. Tekken 8 looks very, very fun. Very excited to pick that up soon.
Did you ever play a game called Soul Calibur?
That sounds familiar.
Is
It's
it
like it's basically like exactly like Tekken.
Is it more of an anime oriented kind of?
Yeah.
Okay, because Guild. So, what was it? When I was trying to decide, I went with Melee because it just has like this crazy, story behind it, I guess.
Yeah.
But then you have, I saw you have Guilty Gear, which also is it's like an anime based fighter that's been around for years, and then you have BlazBlue, I don't know. It's essentially
That sounds
like
crazy.
another anime based by the same company. But that got me thinking about storylines and like characters having stories and cutscenes and all that kind of stuff. So with Melee, dude, you got me confused. I haven't really noticed much of like a storyline. I could be very wrong, but it feels like just a fighter.
Of the Super Smash games, only 2 games had a story mode.
Yeah.
Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which is my favorite because of the story, although the controls compared now to Melee are a lot less slow, but that was the first time they did a story for it, and it's really cool seeing all the Nintendo characters like interact with it. Like you have Samus teaming up with Pikachu, and it's like
Who?
Samus is.
Seamus?
No, Samus.
Samus.
What's the game called?
I can't remember her name.
No,
She has the red power suit, and like at the end of it, they were like, "Oh my god, there's a woman in there," and out of it,
Oh,
It's
Metroid.
like-
Metroid, there we go,
yeah.
you have all like these random ass like Nintendo characters like teaming up throughout the story that like you wouldn't expect, and it's really cool to see their dynamics.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the like big villain in the end is like this giant hand, which is supposed to be a
I
metaphor
remember
for
that. He's
what's the guy's name? Sakurai, yeah. But it's like the
From
lore.
where? Sakurai.
Sakurai is the creator of Brawl.
Oh, okay.
I'm
so-
like Brawl,
the
Super
creator,
Smash
like,
Brother,
you
and
fight
Kirby.
God, basically.
Okay,
Anime Kirby,
okay. And then Tekken, is there a storyline in
Yes.
Tekken?
Yeah, there's a
The
huge...
king
And-
of the Iron Fist tournament.
Okay, so before we get, has the storyline
Every single
did it
character.
start with Tekken 1 and is still ongoing?
Yes, and there was a
Yeah.
big resolution in Tekken 7. that
Okay, so
happened.
spoil. If I could just tell me what happened.
So it's basically it tells the main characters are why am I forgetting the last name? Mashima?
I don't know.
What Hayachi? Well, I think it's Mashi.
Starts with an H. Starts
No,
with an H, doesn't it?
No, the head of the company, Hayachi.
Hashima.
Okay.
Hachi
Is
Miyashi.
he the villain
This
from
is
the
gonna
fourth
no,
one?
no,
He
he's
turns
the
into a
villain
demon.
throughout all of them.
Okay.
Okay, must we quickly stall for time?
Yeah.
Okay.
All you need.
I was right, Mishima.
is
Yeah.
Yoshi. Yoshimitsu's
so
the best
it's
character,
like he starts the tournament called the King of the Iron Fist tournament, basically looking for the successor for his company, which should be his son.
I'm sorry, this is in
Jin.
game. This is in the world of Tekken.
In the world of Tekken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Hashima is the owner of a company.
yeah. The
Yeah.
What did I just say?
Hashima?
No, Mia. Why am I struggling with their last name?
Racist.
Oh my God, what's
you
wrong
sound
with
like
you?
my mom trying to say your name.
Mishima, what is wrong with me today?
Machine.
I know this. So the Mishima company, they're basically like a huge conglomerate, like a Vought from the boys, or just like a big.
You're saying more names that I don't
He doesn't
recognize.
Okay, so they're just like a huge company that do everything in the world,
Okay.
basically. A big conglomerate.
Yes.
And Heihachi is the CEO, and he's starting the tournament, and if you win it, you basically get the company, which is
Okay.
basically the main plot of every
Ready Player One.
King
it's-
of Iron Fist tournament. So the tournament's called the King of Iron Fist
No,
tournament.
I know, but it's the
Huh?
same storyline as like Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Or like so many other games.
wants to win.
Okay, and that is the overarching story of Tekken.
Yeah.
Every single Tekken has
It's
fed
ba-
into that.
Basically, more or less.
Okay.
They each Tekken is all the characters are entering something called the King of the Iron Fist tournament, and there's always like a different prize type of thing. Sometimes it's the company, sometimes it's something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and some characters have like beef with other characters.
Okay,
But
that's
basic-
been built up over the multiple games.
think
Yes.
so, yeah.
So if you want like the proper story of Tekken, you need to complete the following characters. Jin, I think Jin only came in Tekken 3 though. Jin became like the main
He's a
character from
cool
Tekken
dude.
3, but before it was Heihachi, the owner, and his son Kazuya. And yeah, you just gotta play as the Mishima family to get the real story. But then like if you do it like with other characters, you get like kind of like funny kind of like endings which aren't like canon.
Mm.
But if you want to get the canon endings, you play it as the Mishimas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think, and all the characters have backstory. All of
Yes.
them. Okay. I think where like Nintendo specifically wins, like I think that's awesome. But it's different from the Smash games in that like the Smash games are just an amalgamation of every Nintendo IP and like all your favorite characters from all the different Nintendo games.
Yeah.
So essentially you get to play, it's like Kingdom Hearts, right?
Yeah.
Where they just have so many characters that like you can then play a different world or a different game with one of your favorite characters from Nintendo. But like I think it's cool to have a storyline in a fighting game. I would
No.
struggle to like connect with it as much as I would with like an RPG.
I think you're really underselling. I think the Tekken storytelling in particular is really fun, especially if you've been following the characters for years. Like the King character, the King that you play in Tekken 1 is not the same King that's in Tekken 3. It's somebody that he trained that took up the mantle after the original King was killed. And so kind of Tekken 3 is kind of him figure out who killed him, and then Tekken 4 is him
Yeah.
going after the person who killed his master.
It's
So
super
it's
cool.
there's deep
And there's
lore for
different,
like all the
costumes he
characters.
wears. Like the get up changes.
Okay.
Like King in the latest stuff, like he's got a whole bunch of different like get ups.
It's more
so sick.
customization in the later
Yeah,
Tekkens
yeah,
became
so-
very intense, and you could do almost anything with your character.
Like in terms of like
The costumes they wear, you could like customize them to wear like
yeah.
almost anything.
But also, I think like in a game like Mortal Kombat, like if Mortal Kombat X, like we were playing, you could pick between like 3 different versions of your dude,
yeah.
and each one had a different moveset. But I don't think Tekken's like
yeah, but
that.
in Mortal Kombat X, when you were picking between the two versions, you were picking between the different alternate versions because
Yeah.
that storyline,
like
the
one of them has a
two
different
dimensions,
weapon.
and they were trying to decide
Yeah.
which Mortal Kombat.
Wait, so what is the storyline of Mortal Kombat?
Oh, that's
Oh no!
Oh, okay, is this-
Dude, you know there's movies. Have you watched the movies? They are so.
There's
good. You
3
gotta watch them.
movies, 2 from the 90s, 80s, and 1 that came out last year or the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you gotta watch the old ones.
Dude,
The old
you
ones
gotta
are
check
so
this out.
funny, man.
Okay, are they like shitty video game films? Or are they
Yeah,
good?
the original 2.
That's so frustrating. Okay.
There's a dude with like 6 arms who's the villain or something.
No, he's not. He's one of the characters.
Or he's
the,
one of the
the main
leads.
villain of Mortal Kombat, what's his name? It starts with an S. Sheen? Yeah, I don't
I
remember.
don't know.
But he's basically like a huge emperor dude.
Okay. So.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And Street
Pretty
Fighter?
cool.
Do you guys know anything
Nothing
about
about
Street
Street Fighter.
Fighter?
There's a
Except-
guy with stretchy arms and legs.
As you mentioned
I
earlier.
used to play that guy all the time.
Okay. So who do you guys think is like the king of fighting games then? Or like the ruler? Who reigns supreme?
It's definitely, I would say, probably the Super Smash Bros. Just because they cultivated such a huge audience. Entry level is very low for new players also.
Is this is this for a specific game or is this any like Smash?
I think it depends on the generation that you grew up playing.
Okay.
I think it could be for
That's
any
honestly
Smash. Like Tekken dipped a little between 6 and 7, but 8 looks really good, and they're doing a lot there's a lot of like training and tutorial in Tekken 8 itself that helps a new player, brand new to the series, kind of like play like a competitive player and how to get them in that mindset. So when they go online, they're not getting slapped around, which is really nice.
Mortal Kombat just took off, and then Tekken took a little bit of like a dip.
But Mortal Kombat had like a lot of history. Like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were your staples in your arcades. And then obviously Tekken came around later. And then Super Smash Brothers. Actually, do you know the story about how Super Smash Brothers came around?
No.
Tell me. I was gonna sing. Tell me.
So the creator Sakurai, he created Kirby, and he was like, all right, I need a new project. So he was just like going around Japan, just playing a lot of games everywhere in like arcades, and became really good at fighting games. And then I think he got really good at either Street Fighter or King of Fighters. And he was playing somebody at the arcade, and it's like, back to back, so you don't know. And he's like absolutely like destroying this person. And then when he's done like destroying, he looks around and he sees it's just a young couple who are playing the game, they just wanted to see like what was up in the arcade and try some new stuff.
And he just ruined their
And he felt he felt so bad.
He just absolutely
he's throwing slurs over the flippin' arcade machines.
He's got them in like 150 hit combo.
So he was like, it just made me so sad. He's like, I'm gonna make a fighter game for everyone that anyone could play, because Smash Brothers was the first game where there was no health bar. So they
it's the percentage.
Yeah.
That's so annoying to me.
So that in itself was like revolutionary in itself.
Just because you can technically hang in there until like you can get knocked off.
Yeah, you can get to 999%. You could still be in the fight.
Sometimes you can just get one tapped off.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that.
It doesn't happen often.
It does to me.
It depends. If somebody has
that hammer, that's what
if somebody has the right item, they could send you off. But you need to at least be a little bit like in the red percentage wise in order for them to get a smash off you. But anyway, so he gets really depressed and he's like, I'm gonna make a game that's for everybody, that's easy. And I can't remember the name that he originally pitched it to Nintendo, because he didn't want to tell them I want all the characters.
I want
so I think it was called like Dragon King or something. Anyways, he pitches to Nintendo. He's like, we're gonna make this fighting game. It's for everyone. No, there's not gonna be any health bars. It's gonna be four players on one screen, one level. And there's gonna be like layers to it. And and they're like, cool, let's start making it. So he starts making it. He's like, oh, by the way, I think it'd be really cool if we put all the Nintendo characters into it.
Every single one.
And they're like, I made Kirby, so trust me, I got this. So they're like, oh,
that's awesome.
Sure, Sakurai. And so that's how this first Super Smash Brothers came around. And then between the first one and Melee, there was an 11-month gap. And he says that was the worst year of his life, because he basically lived at his office, because Nintendo were like, this is really popular, and we got a new system coming out. We want Super Smash Brothers for the new system.
Oh shit.
So he basically lived in his office, his programmers worked themselves to the bone. Not a great time for him. He said it was the worst time of his life. And I think that's also why Melee had things like wave dashing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think that's something they would have purposely put into
No, so wave dashing and was it something sea leveling? I don't know. It's weird names, but it's like using the built-in mechanics to do things that weren't intended by the program.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
They didn't put in all like the safeguards.
Yeah, because 11 months.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's actually before I forget, I wanted to ask.
Oh, you should explain what wave dashing is for people who don't know.
Fuck me. Wave dashing is essentially like on the controller you can jump with A button, but like so you can jump, you can punch, you can block. Every action you can take, you can potentially do in any direction you want. So you can jump, but into the ground. So wave dashing is when you jump and with like in this right amount of time, you hit the controller in a direction that's like into the ground and you end up dashing. It's like a little movement, but your character also doesn't change the way they're facing or anything. So it's a very useful like movement mechanic that people have like learned and abused, I guess.
Regularly when you dash, you get locked out of doing all your other moves, and wave dashing was a way to circumvent that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's really, really cool. But once again, such a high ceiling. Like, you have to watch tutorials on the controls.
I don't think wave
Otherwise-
dashing is that high of an entry compared to other things to
But
learn.
it's like you have your 3 basics. I can't remember their names right now, but wave dashing is one of them. And it's like
Z,
you
was
need
it Z
to
cancel, Z locking, or something?
something. I'll look it up just now. But basically, these are your 3 basics, and you kind of need to have them unlocked to even consider going into
the competitive scene.
multiplayer stuff.
No,
But
this is the competitive scene. You could do like a casual without knowing how to do those moves.
I could probably.
Yeah, if we were to pick it up
I could
now
probably
and
be
none
the
of us knew
professional.
wave dashing, it would be fine. We could play Smash.
I could probably. pick
I'm
up the
talking about
controller.
if you're like playing online.
Yeah, if you go into the competitive scene.
No. Oh, well, okay. Well, that is technically the competitive scene, but I'm talking about like more tournament stuff when I think of competitive. But if the like if you just want to play online, not against one of your friends, you will get rocked.
Yeah.
The moment you log on, if you don't at the very least have those 3 basics and have like 2 or 3 characters that you're like pretty good at.
Yeah.
But I actually wanted to ask, have there been lots of crossovers? Because I mentioned earlier, like Nintendo, they just have so many characters anyways, so they don't need to worry about like making crossover events with other IPs. But like you have, I think the Capcom
Yeah,
like fighting
Capcom
one.
versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus
And
Capcom
wasn't it-
also?
Something like that, and then also one of the major fighting games used not the boys. What's the like
Oh.
animated
Omni-Man from Invincible.
right? So there was an Invincible X something else crossover in one of the fighting
I think
games.
it was
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat
Kombat.
has.
Mortal Kombat.
They have like freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
So
have
Yeah, Mortal Kombat
Predator.
do a lot
They
of...
have Alien. Like
okay,
the iconic.
is this Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
They have them as
They did a
playable
lot.
characters.
They,
a lot of the
yeah, they're
special
like
DLCs.
exactly, which
Yeah.
is really really cool. But does Tekken have anything like that?
I don't know.
I can think of off the top of my head.
I think Tekken is very in universe.
Okay,
But yeah, Tekken is Bandai Namco, and like the Japanese are not always very big on
on
doing...
sharing.
Yeah.
But Mortal Kombat's like, yeah, we'll fucking take whoever.
Who
Mortal
developed?
Kombat is, I'm pretty sure it's American.
Okay, because I think that doesn't lend itself
No.
towards storylines necessarily.
No, I think I'm lying, no, because I'm thinking of the names.
Mortal Kombat.
Like Raiden, Liu Kang, they're not American like names. But you know how if America make a game, they want it to be American.
America.
Not really. They're not opposed to
Dude,
using
America
like.
only does stuff for America.
Sorry.
America.
He just is in the corner here saying America.
America.
But I'm trying to think, like, there aren't many crossover things in Nintendo-based stuff.
I
at
mean,
all.
Nintendo, like the big one for Brawl, you had all your regular Nintendo characters there, and then Sonic, which was very big at the time.
Oh, okay.
Because there was Sega, and then they've done... I'm trying to think later. They brought other characters later, but I can't... I know they brought characters outside Nintendo, but I can't think off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
Pac-Man, yeah.
Actually, sorry, just from last episode where you mentioned that Pac-Man was one of the biggest characters,
Yes.
I actually went afterwards and looked up a bunch
I
of
was right.
lists. He's in the top 10, but like he
always
squeaks it.
right.
He squeaks in at the top 10, right?
Squeaks in.
Squeaks
He's
in.
the original
He's normally
video game character.
he's normally at like position number 10 out of the top 10.
Okay. Well, at least he's
Um,
consistent.
But so do you guys like? I kind of want to play a bit more Melee and maybe look at Guilty Gear just because I like anime and anime
I think
stuff.
okay.
is
Try
cool.
Brawl just for the story mode.
Brawl for story mode. Are you guys? I mean,
Play
you
like
haven't
Dragon
already
Ball Z
played.
Budokai if you've ever played that.
Oh, Budokai 3. Oh, I was so fucking good
That's
at Budokai
fun.
3.
It's like not hard. It's just fun.
I
Okay.
think that's one
Yeah.
fighting game, where if I took it into the competitive scene, I think I would have
Oh, let's do it. Do you think I'll have it at the arcade? We go play Budokai.
No.
What console was it on?
2.
Two. Okay, PlayStation
Sure.
2.
I don't know.
I mean, Kieran, do you have any interest in still playing Fighting games?
I could fuck you all up.
That's not what I asked. That is not what I asked.
Well, that's my answer. What does that tell you?
So, I mean, because you don't really play fighting games, right? You play like some indie stuff.
But not anymore.
Okay. Do you have any desire to do it? Are you just like stress you out playing it?
I would love to play with you guys.
Okay.
I
So
don't
just
know
as
if I
like a
would
casual
I don't think I would enjoy like
booting up and playing
grinding it
online.
every weekend.
Yeah.
You know,
To be able to play online.
it's just not. But if it was with you guys or
Okay.
the people we know, fuck yeah, dude.
Okay, because you find it's a very good social experience.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fun and people get mad. You can just like you can poke people.
Dude, why you suck so much? Why
You
you suck
only
so
do
much?
one move. That's the one way to do it. They're like, stop doing. You're just doing the low kick, and you're like, damn straight.
You're not
It's
allowed to play
working.
that character
It's
anymore.
working.
And you, Hishaf, are you like, have you been playing fighting games recently or not?
It's been the last fighting game was definitely Ultimate, which was 2 years ago, but I'm gonna pick up Tekken 8.
Okay, for sure, 100%.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think because they've okay, so some of the new I want to talk about Tekken 8 for a little bit.
Okay,
They've done
please.
like a couple new features. So they've done this new thing called a gray bar for your health. So usually, you know, when you hit, your health goes down, but now it leaves like this ghostly like gray bar, and you're able now to recover your health if you're able to switch and go into the offensive
So Bloodborne.
and get your
Yeah,
opponent back.
it's like in the Souls games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Then they also introduced this thing called like a heat system, where you can like activate, and it's kind of like a rage mode for your character, and like their normal strikes get stronger. It also, when you activate it, it unlocks a new set of combos for your character to do, and it gives you access to a finisher move if the circumstances
That's
are right,
cool.
which is really cool. So like these new changes that they made for Tekken 8 have switched it from a more defensive game to a bit more of a middle ground where it's a bit more offensive.
Yeah.
Minded.
That's awesome.
So I think that's going to attract more people now. And also, they finally redesigned Yoshimitsu, because we talked about
Wait,
it, and you know,
he's been a robot. He's been an alien.
it's been the same guy wearing different armors, but there was a very stupid
Well,
looking.
what does he look like now? Does he look like a
No,
samurai?
he looks like the original, like not the original, but how he looked in Tekken 3.
Okay.
He looks like back like a samurai.
That's
but before they
badass.
started like giving him very like funky designs, and they made him look like a predator kind of, like an alien with like these weird dreadlock
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
and
yeah.
he
tentacles.
just didn't feel like a samurai anymore in the later games.
He's basically an alien. In
Yeah, he looked like an alien, not basically.
He is an alien,
He's still a
yeah.
human with a weird ass armor, but now he looks back to his original.
He's
so
the
I'm very
coolest.
excited
And
for
he
it.
does this thing where he stabs his sword in the ground and he jumps on it and he hops around
Yeah,
on his sword.
like a pogo stick.
Dude, yeah, it's so cool. And
he could also.
he does a helicopter move. Where
Yeah,
he
he
flies.
twirls like his sword around really
So
fast,
fast.
and
He's
he
got
flies.
like a metal, like a robot hand.
Again, not a robot.
So
He is a robot.
Is Tekken relatively?
I will stand on this hill and die.
Is
I don't
Tekken
care.
relatively like
People in the comments.
a funny kind of slapstick?
There is a lot of like slapstick things.
Because
Like,
the Mortal Kombat stuff was like just so,
So-
gruesome. Like
yeah.
it's the whole gimmick is being
Mortal
gruesome.
Kombat's all about the
yeah,
violence.
because also Mortal Kombat, like the story, it switches all between the different characters.
Mhm.
When Tekken, like you'll choose one character and then you'll go through like 4 rounds and like the King of the Iron Fist tournament, getting to the finals, and then you unlock the ending for that character for that story.
Okay.
And a lot of them are like slapstick. Like there's a bear called Kuma, and in the one, I think it's Tekken 4, when the company's on the line,
Yeah.
he gets the company in the end, and you just see him like signing papers with his like paws. And then Heihachi, who is the main villain but also the person who trained Kuma, you see him signing all the papers to like gain membership of the company. But then in the last one, it says to sign it back over to Heihachi. But you see like Kuma's been like in such a groove and like dancing and like slapping all the papers with his paw prints to sign them. And the other one, like he just accidentally like slaps Heihachi in the face, and it's like the ending for his story. So it's already like there's
I mean,
a lot of goofy.
So it's
stuff.
a lot
There's a
goofy
tree
and
that you
fun.
can play as. He has a storyline.
A tree.
Yeah,
And
Is this
Tekken
a tree
3.
stump.
He's only in
Oh,
Tekken
okay,
3.
that's how stump.
serious.
This is the stump character
Yeah,
that you
that's how
talked
serious
about.
it is.
Only in Tekken 3 and you never see him again.
Yeah, which is weird. Which is why I remember it so vividly.
Yeah, there's a lot of
because I'm
characters in
that's
Tekken 3 that were there, then you
iconic.
never see them again.
It's kind of okay. Let's not get too much, but I think playing as a character that is essentially Ditto.
I think you would
is a
like,
bit
you would
cuck.
like a cheesy character. There's
No,
this one dude.
I refuse.
You know, we were talking about capoeira. There's another. I think it's a Korean fighting style that he has. His name's like Harong.
Oh, how wrong he
Harong.
mainly
He
does
just
kicks.
kicks the shit out of
Yeah.
people. I think you'd like Harong.
It's
Am I allowed to say that?
It's something. It's very
It's
like
so cool, dude.
it's very like long names like HWO RUN
Dude,
Gee,
trust
yeah.
me. When you see it, you'll be like,
Yeah.
how did...
Nah,
You'll be
dude,
like,
But he was
no
actually one of my
stress.
favorite
He's
characters to use in
super
Tekken
cool,
3. He's
eh?
really good.
Once again, you just like cheesy characters.
Well,
No,
he's
it's not
cheesy,
cheesy.
but if you know how to, like, if you know how to
Yeah.
combo him, then it feels cheesy.
Okay.
There's also like in Tekken 4, there's a boxer.
Yeah.
So he only punches. He has no kicks whatsoever. So
Mhm.
each character has like their own very distinct style.
Okay. Wait, is Tekken 8 out, by the way?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, is it in early access?
No,
or is
it's
it out?
It's out.
Out. Okay, cool.
32 characters in the new one. Yeah.
Very cool.
It's a lot to learn.
You better
Awesome.
start learning Yoshimitsu so we can go professional.
I
Are we doing a
rarely,
tournament
I
after the
know,
podcast?
I rarely, like, I always love playing King, even though, you know, he's never been the
Yeah.
best except for that tournament.
That
which
one
I'm
time,
definitely going to
when
check. I'm going to
You
check
can
that
go
out.
look it up. I swear
Just
to
because,
God,
you know,
it
I'm a
happened.
huge wrestling fan and being able to do, like, wrestling moves in a fighting game.
Yeah.
Because you can fucking powerbomb a guy as
Dude,
King.
yeah.
And he does it, like, insanely. Like, he'll jump 10 feet into the air and bring them all the way down.
Yeah, and he
It's
does
great.
like grappling things, so you can instead of like comboing together punches, he combos together like a grapple, then he does like a leg grapple, and then
Yeah.
he goes into like a head grapple, and then he like throws him in the air and jumps and grabs him and hits him in the ground. Like
It's a
he's
bit
very
like
unique.
Yeah, he does
It's
a bit
like a judo
UFC.
character,
No, he does like
essentially.
UFC. No, he's a luchador.
Yeah, he's a
So he does
luchador.
wrestling moves.
Gotcha.
But he
Okay.
looks so cool, dude. He looks sick. He's got a jaguar head.
Is that why, like, there's like combos and it feels a lot slower because you have these set moves, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
But in the
that's how they
new
balance it
new
out.
Tekken 8, in the training center, I don't know what to call it. You can pin combos now to the top,
Yeah.
so it's easier
So
to
you can see
practice
them,
them
yeah.
now. Where before, if you wanted to do
You
a
had to
combo,
pause it,
you had to
dude.
pause it, go to your combo list, scroll down, find it, and be like, okay, then try it, and be like,
I remember
do it?
doing that like at Tekken 3 as a kid playing against your brother. I'd pause the thing and be like, I just gotta look at
Yeah.
like, the moves.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, no,
Yeah.
no, you don't get to look at the moves. Because like unpause it and he'd destroy me.
Because you'd be like in such a groove, and then like your sibling would like pause it and be like, "No, I just want to check
But then
something." Like, no,
You're right. You get all passive.
getting me out the
aggressive. You're
zone.
Like, no, I need to pause. And you're just about to die. You're like, I could win this. I could.
Okay, awesome. Well, I want to keep going with Melee. Maybe if you have, are you getting Tekken?
Melee, so
Are you getting Taken on your PlayStation?
I'm not. I didn't check if it's on the PlayStation 4. I hope it is.
Is it
But
on Steam?
if it is, I'm gonna. Actually, I don't know. I didn't check which consoles it came out on.
Okay, but then odds are, would it come out on Switch? Maybe.
Maybe.
So
Well,
what
it's a good
would
shout.
you play it on?
PlayStation 4.
Okay, so if that is the case,
Oh, dude,
then we can have a bit of a
I
tournament
think
arc for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Any final thoughts about fighting games? Anything we didn't cover today?
No,
I
we
think
did-
they could be
we did a
really
good
good
job.
for couples who need to work out their stress.
Yo,
Super Smash Brothers.
depends. It could cause more problems. So.
Don't
There's
stress.
a chance.
Babe, it's just a game.
Babe,
Yeah, fuck it takes two. Do Super Smash Brothers with your significant
babe,
other.
I gave you 5 minutes to look at the move list.
Okay,
I'm not giving you
anyways.
another 5.
I'm Bjorn,
I'm Kieran.
I'm Michelle.
and this has been the Underleveled podcast. Thank you very much for listening and watching and being and
Peace out,
existing.
peace out.